Alright, estudiantes, today we have an exciting day in Spanish because you guys are going to learn about the other past tense. So far we've been working with the preterite, that's one past tense. Now today we're going to talk about the el imperfecto, or the imperfect. Alright, so let's marinate this. Why is there more than one past tense? Okay, so in English, the preterite is called the simple past. I studied, they ran, we ate. So make sure you're filling out your notes. Simple, done, over with. But we could also say, I used to study, or I was studying. They used to run, or they were running. And we used to eat, or we were eating. Okay? So simple past tense, studied, ran, ate. But notice the imperfect, used to study, was studying, used to run, were running, used to eat, were eating. All of those examples are going to use the imperfect tense. Alright, so when do we use the perfect tense in Spanish? When do we use this tense? Number one, when you talk about something that was happening. Sometimes we refer to this as our wasing reason. You also would use the imperfect tense to talk about something that you used to do. Again, and you saw those in the example. Our third reason for using our third time we use the imperfect tense is to express how old someone was when something happened. So think about this. What verb do we use when we're expressing age? If you said tener, then you are correct. You might want to write that on your notes. And then finally, when we tell what time it was when something took place. Again, if I'm saying the time, what verb do we use in Spanish? If you said the verb ser, you are correct. Again, you might want to jot that down on your notes. Okay, so those are 4 reasons that, okay, we know we're going to use the imperfect tense in those 4 cases. So, what does an imperfect tense look like, you may be asking? Well, here you go. Here are your endings in Spanish. Just like our preterite tense, our AR verbs have their set of endings, and our ER and IR verbs have their own set of endings. So AR verbs, aba, abas, aba, abamos, abais, aban. Notice a couple things. Our yo form and our el, ella, and usted form are the same. And our nosotros form has an accent on the A. With our ER and IR verbs, notice that all of our conjugations have accents. Also, our yo form and our el, ella, and usted form have the same conjugation. And there you go. Alright, good news for you guys. Of course, we have to talk about irregulars as well, but there are only 3 for the whole entire tense. So for the imperfect tense, we don't have any stem changers. We don't have any funky stems, none of that stuff. There are only 3 irregular verbs, and then all of our other verbs, we can just drop off our ending, our AR, ER, or IR ending, and then add our correct ending, I guess. Oh, there we go. So our first irregular verb is the verb ser. Era, eras, era, éramos, erais, and eran. Notice again, we've got an accent in the nosotros form. Our yo form and our el, ella, and usted form are both the same. I always remember that era goes with the verb ser because ser has an E in it as well. Our verb ir is irregular in the imperfect tense. Iba, ibas, iba, íbamos, ibais, and iban. Again, our yo form and our el, ella, and usted form are the same, and there's an accent in the nosotros form. I always remember that our ibas go with the verb ir because they both have an I in them. And then finally, our verb ver, our verb ver is our irregular. There we go. And really, ver, we keep the E, and then if you'll notice that it has our ER endings. So veía, veías, veía, veíamos, veíais, and veían. Again, so I remember our conjugations of ver is by keeping the E and then just adding our endings for ER verbs. So those are the three irregulars. So, oh yes, and here are some examples. Cuando yo era niña, when I was little, íbamos a la playa. We used to go to the beach. So to express when I was little, we used to go to the beach, then we would use the imperfect tense. You might want to write that example on your notes somewhere. Okay, now here's your opportunity to practice. I would like for you to write the conjugation of those 5 verbs, and then also the translation. Now, of course, your translation is going to kind of depend on what you want to say, whether it was wasing or used to. So go ahead and hit pause and practice our imperfect tense now. Okay, let's see how you did. There are your conjugations, so make sure your conjugations are correct. And then here are your translations. Alright, so let's go through each one of these. Los niños, so it's going to be they. And since llorar is an AR verb, then it's going to be lloraban. The kids used to cry, or the kids were crying. Okay? Vender in the to form is vendais, again, accent on the I. You were selling, or you used to sell. For número 3, Marta y yo, so we're going to be in the nosotros form. Ir is one of our irregular verbs, so it's going to be íbamos with an accent on the I. Martha and I used to go, or Martha and I were going. Número 4, la familia, vivir. Alright, so we've got that la and usted conjugation. So your conjugation for vivir would be vivía. The family used to live. The family was living. It could be a translation as well. And then mi abuelo with the verb ser. And again, remember, ser is one of our irregulars, so it's going to be era. And then my grandpa used to be, or you could say my grandma or my grandpa was. Alright, so that's the imperfect. That's what we're going to be focusing on the next couple days again. Really make sure that you're focusing on getting those endings down as well as our irregulars. And we're going to continue to talk a lot about when we use the imperfect, but it's up to you to get those endings and your irregulars down. Alright, please make sure that you write down any questions that you have, and we'll see you in class.